Okay, guys, so we've got an equation here, and it's written in what's called standard form. That means that the x's and y's are all over on the left side. And for us to find the slope and y-intercept that it asks for, the slope and y-intercept, um, we're going to have to rearrange this thing in order to solve for y. And when we solve for y, what that means is that we want to get y all by itself on the left side. And that's going to leave us with an equation in the y equals mx plus b form where we'll be able to get the slope and y-intercept. So let's get started. First thing we want to do, we're trying to undo anything that's not y on the left side. So I'm going to undo this 3x by subtracting 3x from both sides. So I do minus 3x from both sides. Remember, anything I do on the left, I also have to do on the right. Now, when I subtract, that's going to cancel the 3x on this side, and it's going to leave me with negative 7y. It's going to be equal to negative 21 minus 3x. Now, let's not do something crazy like try and do 21 minus 3 is 24 or something like that. Remember, we can't combine those things. They're like apples and oranges. They don't mix. So I have to leave everything as it is. So negative 21 minus 3x. Make sure we leave that x in there. Now, if I look over here at the 7y, y is still not by itself. So my last step is to cancel out that negative 7 by dividing everything by negative 7. Okay, so now I'm going to cancel my negative 7s out. Make sure that we divide by negative 7. That's a common mistake, is to just divide by 7 and forget about that negative sign. Now negative 21 divided by negative 7 is just going to be 3. Remember that a negative divided by a negative equals a positive. And then I'm going to look at negative 3 divided by negative 7. Again, a negative divided by a negative equals a positive. And so I'm going to go plus 3/7 x. Great. Okay, now I'm going to look at this as, remember our y equals mx plus b, which is the form that we're in now. And so I want to look for the m, which is the same as slope. And the m is the number that's right in front of the x. So the number right in front of the x is the 3/7. So my slope down here is going to be 3/7. Now, the next part we want to look at is going to be the b. So b is the same as y-intercept. So y-intercept is that number that's all by itself. It's not next to the x. So my y-intercept is 3, but remember that we always write that as a point. So we write it as 0, 3. Because my point always goes x, then y. My x value is 0, my y value is 3. Okay, now we want to look at figuring out this x-intercept. So let's get rid of this. Get rid of those. Okay, let's look back at this formula from the very beginning. This equation from the very beginning. So I'm rewriting the original equation. Now, if in my y-intercept, my x is equal to 0, and my x-intercept, that means my y is going to be equal to 0. So what I can do is I can erase the y and put in a 0. Now, all that does, 7 times 0 is 0, so what that's going to do is that's going to eliminate that term for us, okay? And so now I can look at this thing as 3x equals negative 21. Well, that's really easy to solve for x. I can just divide both sides by 3, and now x is going to be equal to negative 7, because a negative divided by a positive is still a negative. So again, my x-intercept is negative 7, but I can't just write down negative 7. It has to be a point, so it's going to be negative 7, comma 0. And that's our answer.